Welcome to the another session of SQL class. So today we are going to look into SQL join. Okay, so we have taught a lot of functions in SQL. So we make use of select with other operators. So now today, so we are going to look into using SQL join. So let me open the note. Okay. So as you can see, so SQL joins. So SQL joins is used to join two or more tables together. So, or you can also use it to join a single table to itself. Okay. So, and we have different types of SQL join. So, first one is inner join. Then we have self join. Then outer join. Then cross join. So, and outer join can also be categorized into three, to which is left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. So we are going to start with inner join. So before you can join two tables together, so that each individual table must contain a column that have the same value. So if you want to join two tables, so you must have a column that also present in another table. So for example, if you have an ID in one table, so there must be a column called ID in another table. So we now use both columns to join the two tables. So you can also use another column like maybe you are working with a product table and customer table. So if you have customer ID in customer table, there must be customer ID in product table before you can join them together. So there must be a relationship between both tables before you can have before you can use join commands to join the two tables together. You know, we have explicit join command, which is using select and where command. So you can use select and where without using join. Without using join commands to join two tables. So that is we call it explicit join. So can you see explicit join without using join command? So you can join two or more tables together using a select query. So you just use a condition with that select to join the two tables. So let's check it. Let's demonstrate explicit join before we start join commands with our SQL commands. Now let me open the exam. Okay. Okay. Now, so this is our uh this is our local host. So under local host, we have a different database here. So there is data analytics DB. So this data analytics DB contains three tables, which is my records, sales records, and sales records updated. So my records contain three rows. So sales records contain just one row, and this one contain 8 rows. So we decided to join my records and sales records updated. So we can join them together. So using explicit join, that is without using join command. So now let's try that. But before we do that, okay, you know, this my records contain ID. Okay, so then sales records updated also contain ID. So we will use both columns to join the two tables. So using explicit join. So just go to select, okay, asterisk from select asterisk from my records, which is the first table, my records, comma, sales records updated. So where my records dot id equals to sales records dot id. Okay, so we want to join the two tables. So you know we are extracting information from both tables. So we are fetching records from the two tables, my records and sales records. And the condition is it's going to fetch the records where my records.id equals to sales records underscore updated.id. So which means it's going to compare the ID, the value of both ID. So where they have the same value, so it will fetch their records. So anywhere they have the same value, so their record will be retrieved. So now let's click on go. Good. So can you see? So we have ID, surname, other name, gender, age, user type, and level. So my records table stop at level column. So and for the sales record updated start from ID, category, product name, and amount. As you can see, so the query has joined both tables together. So but it the records the records that fetched from the both tables depends on the value of the ID. So the first table contains three rows, and the ID we have in that table, the first table, which is my records. So we have 1, 2, 5. So it's going to look for the three values. These are 1, 2, 5. It's going to look for the values in second table. So anywhere the ID contains 1, 2, 5, so it will join the rows for that table with the first table. So I hope this is clear. So this is how to join table explicitly. So using select and where command. Okay, so using select and where command. So you can join your table like this. So we now have a join command to join tables based on using join command. So now let's check the different join commands we have. So we now pick them one by one to demonstrate how they work. Okay. So first one, so this one show the explicit. Okay. So apart from selecting all, you can also select part of the columns. So you can fetch you can select like maybe 3 columns from one table, then 2 columns from another table. So as we have it here, so look at this one, select inventory name, sales date, sales unit price, sale quantity multiplied by sales unit price as total amount, So it's going to multiply quantity and sales unit price. So, and it will give us total amount from sales, inventory. So that means it's going to fetch the records from the two tables. So where sale dot inventory ID equals to inventory dot inventory ID. As you can see, so there is a column called inventory ID in sale table. There's another column inventory ID in inventory table. So before you can join two tables, so you must have a column that's present in both tables. So it will now check the value of individual column that to fetch your record. So you can go further to group your records. Group by sales.inventory ID, inventory name, sales date, quantity, so all this they use all these columns. All these columns are to group the records. So then you can sort it by inventory name. So order by inventory name. So after you have grouped the records, then you can sort it. So using inventory name, you can specify if you want to arrange it in ascending order or descending order. So if it is ascending, you will use ASC. If it is descending, that is DESC. So that is that about explicit join. Now, today's class, we center on implicit join. So, and we have a different kind of join. So first one is inner join. So we start with inner join. So you can join two tables with inner join. So look at the example here. So select asterisk from inventory, inner join sale. Can you see? So it is different from explicit join. So if it is explicit join, so what you have is select asterisk from inventory, sale. Then you now say where sale dot inventory ID equals to inventory ID. But if you want to use join, so you start with select asterisk from inventory, then inner join another table, which is sale. On you now have another clause on sale dot inventory ID equals to inventory ID. So let's use our tables to demonstrate how inner join works. Okay, now let's go back to the local host. Okay. So now this is our table. So we have my records, then sales record updated. So I want to join these two tables. I want to join them using inner join. So to do that, so you go to the Sql editor. So select. So if you want to select all, so that means you use asterisk from okay. So the first table, which is my records, okay. So my records inner join, okay. You now have my records inner join, the second table, which is sales records updated on, okay. So on my records dot ID equals sales records updated dot ID. Okay, so select asterisk from my records inner join sales records. So it's going to join sales records updated with my records. using inner join on my records.id equals to what? Sales record.id. So this one works like intersection in a set. Intersection, if we have a set graph, set diagram. So if you want to find the intersection, so you will look for the common one in both sides. So that is how inner join works. So if you look for where they intersect, so where they have the same value. So when you click on go, yeah, so can you see? So it works like explicit join. So where we normally select the common values. So where we normally select rows that have common values. So this is how inner join works. So ID. So if you look for this, where this ID, my records ID, equals to sales records underscore updated ID. So can you see that? So that is how inner join works. So you can also select part of the columns. So if you don't want to select all, so you can pick just one ID here, then select some columns, okay, in first table, and select some other columns in another table. So if you don't want to display all the columns in that table, so to do that, so you just go to the SQL query editor, then you specify the now you can specify your ID, but now we have two IDs, so you have to specify the one you want to select. So if it is that of my records or the ID in sales record updated. So if you want to select the first ID, so you just have select my records dot ID, comma, then surname, comma, other name, comma, gender. Okay, then what can we select in second table? Let's select category, and we have category there. Then products, I think we have product name, then amount. Okay, so if we have this, select all this from my record. Okay, inner join sales records underscore updated on my records dot ID equals to sales records underscore updated dot ID. Okay, so let's click on go to see. Yeah, so can you see that? So the first ID, surname, other name, gender, category, product name, amount. So that is how to use inner join in MySQL. So that is how to use inner join. So then second one is that is self join. Okay, but before we move to self join, So let's treat left join and right join. Okay. So for the left join, this is the one of the example of left join. Okay. So the way left join works is that if you have two tables that you want to join, so the first table is going to be the left join, while the second table will be right join. Okay, so if you now join our first table using left join with the second table, so it's going to consider the first table. So it's going to pick all the rows. It's going to use all the rows in the first table to fetch to display your records. Okay, so if the first table contain 3 rows and the second table contains 5 rows, so it's going to display 3 rows as the output, because left join consider the left table, okay, over a second table, which is right table. So now let's join the two tables. Let's let's join our tables, the two tables using left join. Okay. Now